Welcome to this session in the digital transformation stream for exploring solutions that are enabling an agile transition to SAP S/4HANA. So my name is Jörg Maring, and together also with my colleague Frank Kühn, we are going to present this to you. So as said, today we are having two speakers. So my name is Jörg Maring, and together with Frank Kühn, I'm sharing the role of the area product owner for Focus Build. In that role, we are actually responsible for the overall development of Focus Build, about the strategy of Focus Build. And in addition, Frank is also working in the product management of SAP Cloud ALM, our other ALM tool that we have in place. And today he has this hat on, and he's going to present you some information about how SAP Cloud ALM can support you in the transition to SAP S/4HANA. As already mentioned at the beginning, we have a podcasting platform, so this limits a little bit the possibilities of interaction, but at least you can ask your questions inside the chat of the podcasting platform. And Frank and me, we are not alone today, thankfully. So we have our colleagues, Michael Kloeffer, Rainer Markheiser, and Henrik Zimmermann with us. They are there in the background for answering all your questions. So we had more than 1,300 registrations for that session, which is absolutely great. And of course, we expect there are also a lot of questions coming in. That's why we have this supporting cast also with us. Before we are getting into the content of the session, I would like to give you some information about the exercises and the system access that we also have as part of this workshop. So if it is not the first TechEd session for you this year, then you are maybe already aware of this. So for every session, there is a GitHub in place. And in that GitHub, we have published all the information that are relevant for getting this presentation that you are currently seeing, but also where you can have the information about the systems that we are using for our later exercises and also for our demonstrations. So how do you get there? For this, I'm going to jump into the TechEd starting page. So after you have logged on, you have here the My Dashboard section. And in this My Dashboard section, you should also see all the sessions that you have registered for. And here, if you then click on this Explore Solutions, so to our session, then you will get into that information, and there you have this Learn More button in place. And here, if you scroll down a bit, there you have the session material. So here you have the link to the GitHub. So when this one is opened, as said, it's a specific GitHub just for our presentation right now, for our workshop, giving just some overview about the information that we want to provide. We have here also the overview presentation linked. So this is the slide deck that I'm currently sharing. And if we go one step back, then we have also here the information about the exercises. So in the course of this workshop, I'm doing some demonstrations, Frank as well, but we also have some exercises in place. These exercises are also linked here. So we have this exercise 1 for the conversion project support in Focus Build, and we have the exercise 2 conversion project support in SAP Cloud ALM. Also here, this is a link opening then a PDF file. And in this PDF file, we have actually tried to really describe step by step with screenshots what we are doing, some background information, and then really the click-by-click instruction, what you need to do inside the system, also to make this to make the run through this exercise. And we have then here also the information about the system access. So for the exercise 1, so as said, we are talking at the beginning about Solution Manager with Focus Build. There we have a Solution Manager system in place where you can log on. So you click here on that link, and then we have created in total 500 users, starting with DT 260, like that session, minus 01, 02, 03, and so on and so forth until 500. And the password for all of these users is welcome 2021. So you don't need to change this password also and you can just directly log on with that. As said, we have more than 1,300 registrations for that session, but it is no problem if there are several users that are maybe taking the same user. So of course, it should not be that all of you logging on with 001, for example, take something in the middle. But anyway, also if there are 5 or 10 people sharing the same user, that is no problem at all. And for the second exercise for Cloud ALM, we have here a Cloud ALM tenant in place. There we just have one user, Agatha, and with this password, also this password don't need to be changed, and the same is also appearing here. If there are, when you're using the same user, you are not running into any issues. So with having that said that, I can come back to the presentation. And yeah, regarding the agenda, I'm going to start with a short introduction why we are actually talking about this way to an SAP S/4HANA system. And then we want to present you 2 ALM tools that we have in place with Solution Manager and Focus Build that can guide you through the whole conversion project. And in the second tool is SAP Cloud ALM, where we also have applications and functionalities in place that are helping you in such a conversion project. And then at the end, we don't have this direct Q&A, but Frank and me, we will also monitor the chat. And if there are some questions that are coming up regularly, or maybe that we haven't answered, then until the end of this session, we will try at least to tackle them in this last part. Also, I have to mention here in our abstract to the session where you actually registered, we were just talking about Solution Manager and Focus Build. So this was fortunately some miscommunication. But anyway, so we are going to focus today on 2 tools. So we are not just talking about Solution Manager and Focus Build, how it was specified in an abstract, but also we are talking about SAP Cloud ALM. So you're getting information about 2 applications from SAP. Okay, so let's have a start. And let's start with the introduction. So you have maybe already seen that slide quite often, especially if you have attended other sessions already in this year's TechEd, but also our management presentations in the last couple of weeks and months. So SAP has a clear vision. The vision is that all companies and all our customers are becoming intelligent enterprises. But what does this mean at the end? So it means that besides, of course, also other aspects, it means that you are leveraging latest technologies, latest functionalities like machine learning, artificial intelligence to drive your end-to-end business processes much more efficient and also as automated as possible wherever it is possible. And one centerpiece of this intelligent enterprise is the Intelligent Suite, where we have several applications in place. And one master puzzle piece also in this Intelligent Suite is our SAP S/4HANA. So this is our ERP solution that we have in place and that where we want to transform all our customers to, where they can then run their end-to-end processes in a very efficient way, and where they have the possibility also to monitor their end-to-end business processes and also to have the possibility to react fast to any changing circumstances like we have seen in the last 2 years with the pandemic crisis. So that's why it is definitely a masterpiece inside this intelligent enterprise to make the move to SAP S/4HANA. SAP has also launched at the beginning of this year with the Rise of SAP, a business transformation as a service to support all our customers and all companies to this new world, let's say it like that. Okay, and to get now to such an SAP S/4HANA, which options do you have there? So we see there at the moment 3 options. The first one is the new implementation. So there you're really installing an SAP S/4HANA system on an empty, on a green field. You're documenting or you're defining your end-to-end processes for that system. You're implementing everything. You test, and at a certain point of time, you are deploying it. And then the good thing about the new implementation is that you actually have two ways to roll it out. So there's one option that you say, okay, now all people from our so far existing ERP system maybe, or if you were a non-SAP customer so far, from the non-SAP system will move at the same point in time on this new SAP S/4HANA system. Or you decide for a more phased approach. You say, okay, maybe let's start with finance, and then afterwards we continue with logistics, for example. So here you have, even in this option of the new implementation, you have some additional options then for your way. Second way is the system conversion. So this applies to all customers that are having an SAP ERP system in place and want to convert it into an S/4HANA system. So right from a technical perspective, the system conversion is just a one-step procedure. So at a certain point, you say, okay, now I'm converting my production ERP system into an S/4HANA system. Of course, also such a project is a long-running project. So you need to prepare, first of all, your ERP system to get into the situation that you can actually convert it into an S4 system. And of course, you're doing also their iterations of this conversion. So you will not start with, okay, let's give it a shot and convert our production system. It's not like that. So you will do their system copies of your production system as sandbox systems, and then you do several iterations of this conversion, and always learn with every iteration what to do and how to act the next time better. But at the end, as soon as you decide, now I'm going for the production system, it's a one-shot. So it's a rollout for all people at the same time. The third option that we also have in place is the selective data transition. This is an option which has grown over the last couple of months. So here also, the idea is, of course, to move from an ERP system to S/4HANA system. And this option is actually balancing a little bit the benefits of a system conversion and the new implementation. So inside the selective data transition, you have also two options. The one is you are installing a completely new S/4HANA system, and then you're just copying selective data over to this new S/4HANA system. Or you are making a lean system copy of your production ERP system, and then you convert it into an S/4HANA system. So these two ways are existing there. So it gives you the option to have something like cleaned up system also, and but you're also taking over historical data that are really of relevance for you. So very tailored approach. Where we see that it is growing at the customers, or the customers are asking more and more for that. So that's definitely also a valid option. So in our session today, we are actually going to focus on the system conversion. So we are not talking about new implementation, and we are not talking about the selective data transition. We are talking about the system conversion. By the way, if you have heard something about color options also there, system conversion is usually, or sometimes also called the brown field way. New implementation is a green field, and this selective data transition is the blue field approach, just in case you have maybe already heard that. So which ALM offerings do we have inside SAP to support you in that step? So we have on the left-hand side, we have the SAP Solution Manager for hybrid solutions. So you have seen that we have specified here, besides the Solution Manager, the add-on Focus Build and Focus Insight separately. But this just because of this technical background. So Focus Build is an add-on to Solution Manager that you need to install to use it. But from a license perspective, it doesn't matter. So Focus Build and Focus Insights are both included into the license rights of Solution Manager. So Focus Build has the entire process from the requirement over build, test, deploy, and go live, and also the operate phase. So with option then to make bug fixing, for example, and all these tools and all these processes are highly integrated. With regards to the system conversion, we have there 3 main tools in place that you will also get to know today, partly. So we have this Readiness Check integration. I'm going to talk about the Readiness Check in a few minutes. We have the integration about the Sap Activate methodology, also that you're going to see. and the specific part for this transport handling during the conversion. Remember, I just mentioned some minutes ago that customers are doing the sandbox iterations to get better to know the system conversion process in total. And there you also need to manage, of course, transport requests that you are creating as preparation for the conversion or after the conversion has happened. And for that, the transport handling via the retrofit tool could be very essential to support your basis administrators in this part. So Solution Manager for hybrid solutions and for multi-cloud solutions, we have the SAP Cloud ALM in place. I don't want to call it the new kid on the block or something. So it's also already now more than 2 years available. And there we have also the possibility to support customers that want to implement different cloud applications in place. And also here we have for the conversion part, we have also here specific tools in place. So we have there the Readiness Check integration as well, in a slightly different way than we do it in Focus Build. And also there we have the Sap Activate Methodology integration. So these are topics where Frank is actually going to talk about. Okay, so let's have a look at the conversion project with Solution Manager and Focus Build. So we are focusing also on that session to the conversion to S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. And yeah, you actually can see this this transformation or this conversion to SAP S/4HANA also like a road that you want to drive on, or a path that you want to walk on. And there we have then different phases for the project and different functionalities inside Solution Manager and Focus Build that are going to support you. So let's start with the project management part. So as said, the conversion project is a big project. It's also a long-lasting project. And of course, you need also to monitor this project in a certain way. You maybe also want to do there a proper assignment of resources to this project. And so we have inside Solution Manager a complete project management functionality also in place. And the good thing is you don't need to start there also from the greenfield. So we have the SAP methodology content in place where you can select also a certain project template plans that are fitting to your upcoming project. And it's easily, it can be taken over easily into the project management in Solution Manager. Then we have the readiness check. I'm going to talk about this in a few minutes. The readiness check at the end is scanning. First of all, you need to scan your currently running ERP system so that we know which applications, which transactions, which reports are really used inside your system, also which customer objects, for example, are used. And then this information are compared against the so-called simplification item database. And the outcome is the so-called SAP Readiness Check. So you get then the information because you're using that, you need to do that to move to SAP S/4HANA. That's the idea behind the Readiness Check in a nutshell. And you see also that we have a shortcut here. So from the Readiness Check, we can directly make the integration to the Focus Build workflow. So this is something that has been provided 1 year ago, roundabout, to have this integration possible. Custom code management, also important. If you have custom code that is also accessing SAP standard code, which is changed by the conversion, and of course you need to be aware of that you need to do something in your custom code. Then we have the process management in place, so that you have the possibility to document all your end-to-end business processes inside the Solution Manager. For those customers that are already familiar with SAP Solution Manager, they know this functionality now for many, many years. But for those customers that say, okay, I'm new to Solution Manager and I want to start now, and how to get to this process documentation, it's usually not just one click and then you have your business processes documented. So where to start is then always the question. And here we have also content that you can consume, so-called SAP process content, SAP best practices, best practice processes that you can load into your Solution Manager, and then you can just adjust it. Of course, these best practice processes do not fit 100% for all customers. But even if you are starting then on 80 or 90%, it's much better. Even when you start with 60% only and then just adjust it according to your company, you definitely save time with that approach. And then we have inside the standard solution manager, we have then workflows in place for creating requirements, for doing all the testing activities, doing then also the changes or transports that are required for preparing the conversion or after the conversion has taken place, and the release management for the deployment. So these are tools that you usually need to configure on your own. So it's just a recommendation what SAP delivers there, but you need to copy these things then usually anyway in the customer namespace, or you're using Focus Build. So for Focus Build as a predefined methodology, so it's ready to consume directly, it's ready to be used directly. So it's just doing a configuration of the add-on, and then the processes can be run, can be executed. It's just in a matter of training how fast you are getting this methodology into your company. Okay, so let's see how this overall architecture with Solution Manager and Focus Build looks like with regards to the system conversion. So what we need to bring together, there are 3 puzzle pieces. So we need to bring together the readiness check, we need to bring together the Activate template project plan, and our Solution Manager with Focus Build. Okay, so the first step is that we are going to check for an template project plan that fits to our project. So for example, now for the transformation to S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition, there's a project plan in place, a template that you can download and that you can then later upload into the Solution Manager. And then you have there the different activate phases and activate tasks, and we just enhance it with the wave and sprint information that we need to run Focus Build in the required way. And then we have the readiness check. And here you're uploading the readiness check information into Focus Build. There we have an own application, which is called Simplification Item Management, where we then have the simplification items and conversion activities copied from the readiness check. As soon as we have done this, we are starting with the evaluation of the different conversion activities. And then you can decide based on, for example, on the condition that a certain activity has. So activities can be optional, can be conditional, can be mandatory. And usually for the conditional and optional ones, you would create requirements where you then say, okay, this requirement just needs to be processed by the business, needs to be approved or rejected by the business before we can continue with that. For those conversion activities that are anyway mandatory, so you need to do it, otherwise the system conversion cannot happen, you can directly create the work package then out of it, of course. A requirement which is approved is later on then also handed over to a work package. So this is just the shortcut to the work package process. Important is the work package needs to be assigned to a wave. That's why we need to have this enhancement of this project management template plan coming from Sap Activate with this wave and sprint information. And you can then also do a wave planning based on the conversion phase of these conversion activities. So there are activities that you can do at any time in your conversion project, but there are also conversion activities that need to be done in the very first, at the very beginning, so before the conversion even starts, so preparation of your ERP system, for example. There are conversion activities that are to be performed during the system conversion or after the system conversion. So that's why, based on this conversion phase, you can then do also this wave planning that you select all conversion activities that have a work package assigned, which must be done before the conversion project starts. Then you can assign them, for example, to the very first wave of your project. And then the next step is we need to assign this work package to a certain business process step, or at least to an executable, so that we know, okay, this work package is now related to a specific report or a specific business process step, that we can also update the process documentation inside our system. And there always the question is for customers that are new to this tool, how can we start with the process documentation? So there are 2 very easy ways actually to get into a certain state that you can start at least working. First one is the library generation. So there your system is scanned and all your technical objects that you are starting, like transactions or applications reports, will be collected and will be created then inside the solution documentation. It's just from a technical perspective then documented, but at least this is the very first step that you get also in the system very easy. Second possibility would be with the best practice content, for example, where I get predefined business processes, load them into your system, and then making out of that the process management that fits to your needs, to your requirements. So after you have done this, you can assign the work package then to a business process step, for example, and then you can upload their design documents and test cases. So that's a good thing. You are after you have assigned the work package to a business process step, for example, you upload these documents inside the work package and do this link between work package and process step. System automatically uploads then these design documents and test cases at the white space inside the solution documentation. Okay, after that was performed, the work package is split up into several work items. So these are the environments, processes where the developers are working in. And the work item is then assigned to a sprint. So you can do also, you can work there in a scaled agile way, that you do a sprint planning meeting with all the developers to see, okay, these are the work items that we need to take care of. And then you just assign them to a specific sprint so that the team can organize themselves when they are doing which work, depending on, of course, priority, for example, of the work item. Okay, for the specific part of the transport handling during the system conversion, where we don't have this, what we are recommending for system landscape in place, this stable development, quality, pre-production, and production system, you can use the retrofit tool for the transport handling in that specific time frame. Then we have also the test suite in place. So you can create out of the test cases that you have uploaded to the work packages. You can create a test plan. You are splitting up then the test plan into test packages. So typical template test plans are for a single functional test or for an acceptance test. Test packages can be then assigned to testers. And we have behind it even more functionality in place. So in case the tester receives an error during the execution, then he can create a defect. In case something needs to be corrected, then based on the defect, you can create a defect correction out of this. So these are all tools, part of Focus Build, that are coming with our add-on. And then the last thing is, of course, you need also to monitor your ongoing system conversion project. And for that, we have several dashboards in place that are all designed for different users. So for example, we have the documentation reporting dashboard. Here you can check from a business process perspective how good you are with documenting the different processes. That's one dashboard. When you want to check how the progress of the processing of your simplification items and conversion activities is, you can have a look at the simplification item management dashboard. So there you can then, for example, filter on conversion activities that need to be done before the system conversion and have a look there about the progress over the last couple of weeks. We have the Solution Readiness Dashboard. There you can have a look at the overall status of your project. You see how many requirements, work packages, work items have been created. You see there also the documentation, so the status of the documentation, how it's going, the status also of the different activate phases and activate tasks, what you have talked about. So it's also a good tool for the project manager, for the project lead, to get an overview about the current status. And we have the test suite dashboard, where you, of course, see what's the progress of our testing activities, how many defects do we have created, how many open defects with priority 1 or priority 2 do we have. All these things you see inside this dashboard. And the really good thing about this is you get all these dashboards then for free, or let's say out of the box. You don't need to maintain there any Excel sheets and then set up your own dashboards for that. The people are just working in their different processes. So we have the solution architect, for example, working in the work package, developers working in the work items, uploading documents there, and everything is collected in the background automatically and is pushed to these dashboards. And then you're getting these dashboards then really without any additional effort, which makes the life also of a test manager, of a project manager, much more easier. Okay, so this was the overall architecture. Let's take this big picture and put it into several smaller pieces. And then also I want then slowly to start also to work in the system to make it a little bit more practical also for you. So as said, we are focusing here in that session on the SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition implementation. So for that, we have an Activate implementation methodology in place, which is for the different phases of the project, like discover, prepare, explore, giving you all the needed tasks or the needed deliverables that are recommended from our side, also with some accelerators. And that makes the life of the whole team also much more easier. So because they can consume then these information, there's a lot of text information and always provided really detailed descriptions about the different tasks that help the team to manage that conversion project. So this Activate methodology, first of all, is existing, and there's the roadmap viewer also for that existing. And we are delivering for all these roadmaps and also a project management template plan that we can upload inside Solution Manager with Focus Build. So this complete Activate methodology is taken over into Activate phases and Activate tasks. And as said, we just enhance it with wave and sprint information that we need for Focus Build. So at the end, this looks like this, that we have an overall project in place with a mixture of Activate tasks and Focus Build tasks and Focus Build milestones also. And this is then a combination of these both worlds, easy to achieve, and then you can start with the governance of the whole Focus Build project. And this I also want to show you in the system. So therefore, jumping first of all to the roadmap viewer. Of course, I got a timeout. So let's restart the browser. And I've already here, one of my two favorite roadmaps is this Sap Activate methodology for RISE with SAP S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition. So we have also other methodologies here, for example, for the transition to SAP S/4HANA, but in that session, as said, we want to focus on this one. So here you see then, let's have a look at the overview, all the descriptions, system conversion, new implementation, what you can do. We have there the different with the different phases, which are explained then more in detail. And we can have here a look at the content. So I'm going to filter first of all on the system conversion. Oh, I've already put that filter on. Okay, good. So it kept that filter for my last session. And let's have a look first of all, for example, on the prepare phase. So here we have something in the prepare phase, which is called transition planning. And here we have one task, which is called check the conversion readiness of SAP ERP. So here you can then click on it, and then as said, you are getting there a lot of information about this, what you need to do, or what you should do, what is recommended to do for this specific task. And you can check it out at this point in time when it is relevant in your project. The same also, just directly below this transition planning, we have here this custom code analysis, for example. Also here it is well documented what you need to do, where you get additional information also to fulfill this task. All right, and when we have that, I'm missing now here this download button. Just recheck that one, because usually it used to be here. Strange that it's not there today, but I think this is then just an temporary issue that I just need then to report to our Activate colleagues. So I'm going to quickly show you how this file looks like that you can download there. Sorry for that. So it's this zip file, and here in the zip file we have then different project plans. We have one for Excel, for example, but we have one for MS Project, and important, we have also that one for Solution Manager 7.2. So this is an XML file where we then have the possibility actually to upload it into the Solution Manager. And this is also actually pretty easy. I've already prepared this now for this session so that you don't need to do this. So let's have a look at this uploaded project. So this is this S4 transformation to private cloud edition. So you see now here also the different phases, and let's do just here a quick comparison. We had this transition planning and the custom code analysis there in place. Just make that rearrangement a little bit of the size. So here we have this transition planning, and here we have this task for the check the conversion of the readiness of the SAP ERP. And when you click on the details, then really we have copied all that information into the Solution Manager. So there's also no need that you then start like having a look at the roadmap viewer, having a look at Solution Manager. That's not the case. Everything is has been copied over. The good thing is then also here, we have a status for these tasks that you can set. So here you see, let's assume that this demo conversion project is already in the course. It has already been started, and the prepare phase has already been completed. So that's why also this check of the conversion readiness has already been completed. Same also for the custom code analysis. So if I'm not completely misled, then it's also completed already. Exactly. And so these activate tasks and activate phases we get right out of the box with this upload. And as said, we just need to enhance it now with focus build specific information. This is also very, very easy. So here you see I've already created an additional wave. So wave 1 before the conversion. So most of our customers are creating their 3 waves, one for before the conversion, one during the conversion, and one after the conversion. And just to show you how easy it is, I just mark here this realize phase, click on change, and then I have the possibility here to create a new wave. And then I just need to provide a name for this. So in that case, it will be wave 2 during conversion. Then I just need to provide how many weeks per sprint I want to have, how many sprints I want to have in total. So I want to have only 2. Then you see also here the wave start date has already, it's automatically taken over because wave 1 is ending at the 1st of December. So that's why wave 2 then starts on the 2nd of December. At least it's proposed to be like that. And then I just need to provide here the release also. This is with regards to the transport handling important. And then we have all the quality gates, milestones, and all that stuff. We can do this in a relatively way so that we say, okay, when we are now talking about 2 months wave, so the functional specification, for example, must be delivered 5 days after the start, and the work package build finish must be done 10 days before the end date. So this is just a proposal from our side. You can change it, of course, you can leave it as it is. But the good thing is, so we need these milestones, otherwise our KPI calculation in the dashboard is not working in the correct way. But we make it as easy as possible for all our customers to create that stuff. So when I click on create, then I think I have written something wrong there. Okay, yeah, I had a spelling mistake here in this wave 2. So of course it should look like that. And now we can check below this wave 2. We have then this sprint 1 and sprint 2. Also that one I need to adjust a later on, but okay, let's keep it like it is. And the only thing what I need to do now is I need to release also that wave so that we can use it later on in our work packages. Okay, so after I've done that, let's leave it. Okay. Just quickly check because it looks like that it was not released. Maybe it was just a refresh issue. Okay, status is released. Okay, just a display issue. All right. Okay, then with that, I'm coming back to the presentation, and I want to continue now with this readiness check integration, which is a huge part actually in our session today. And that's why I want to talk first of all about the readiness check itself. So I already mentioned at the beginning how the idea of the readiness check is actually working. So we are scanning, you are scanning your ERP system, collecting the information about technical objects that you are using, custom code objects that you are using, and then these information are compared against the simplification item management database. And what you then get presented is a tailored readiness check dashboard, which is really focusing on your ERP system. So everything that you have in place. So it's not generic. It's not like that this readiness check looks the same for all customers, because it really depends on the usage in your ERP system. And then you get there tons of information. You get the information about simplification items, about conversion activities. So simplification items describing what needs to be done in your system, and the conversion activities then really detailed description when you need to do this and how you need to do this. But there's even more. So you can see also there the installed add-ons that you have in place and whether they are compatible with the new S/4HANA system or not. The same for active business functions that you have. Also, an important part is the sizing. So you can already get there the first information about which hardware requirements you have. You see also information about BW extractors, iDocs, whether they are compatible with the new S/4HANA system. And depending on the additional checks that you have activated, let's say, like financial data quality, custom vendor integration, business process automation, things like that, they are all part of the readiness check. So the readiness check itself is a web application. So what you're doing in your system, in your ERP system, is you are scanning it. There, the outcome is a zip file. The zip file can then be uploaded into this web application of the readiness check, and then you're getting this dashboard information. And now what we are doing is, or what you need to do is to get it into a Solution Manager with Focus Build is, in this readiness check, you have then the possibility again to export there a zip file. It's a different zip file than what has been created from, from the check of your ERP system. It's a different one. And this zip file is then uploaded into our simplification item management UI5 application. Then you start there with the evaluation and categorization of all the activities. And then based on, for example, like the condition, you're creating then requirements or work packages out of it. Or if it is an activity which has a very high effort, then you could even think about whether you want to assign this conversion activity to an own focus build project. This is also something which is possible. So we have, as already mentioned in this overall architecture slide, but I want to give you also an insight about how it looks like, at least here with some screenshots, because not all of these dashboards I'm going to show in the demo and the exercise. So we have there, as said, the progress dashboard for the simplification items and conversion activities, where you really see the involvement of the performed activities over a certain time frame. Then the Solution Readiness Dashboard, the main dashboard for the project managers and project leads with the overall status of the project. And if you want to have a look from a documentation perspective, then we have the document reporting dashboard. You can even narrow down to a specific business process to see whether there are all documentation provided with the work packages and work items, or whether there is something missing. So idea is really to tackle the different requirements with regards to reporting that different people just have. So an architect has a different requirement for for reporting than a project manager or test manager, definitely. All right, and before we come to the exercise, let me just quickly show you the readiness check analysis. For that, I'm having here one in place. Also here, upload refresh needs to be done. So this is now a readiness check from one of our internal SAP systems. And you see here, let's start there with the dashboard itself. You see here the simplification items, the activities related to the simplification items, also a scope analysis, which was not part of my screenshot, but which is rather new. And then you see here the add-on compatibility, the active business functions, the recommended sizing, then also for this for the system, the custom code analysis. So where do you have to do something with regards to your custom code, integration, financial data quality. So when we have there some inconsistencies, this would be also then shown in this readiness check dashboard. And it's not just, oh, it looks great, it's graphical stuff, but you can also really get a lot of details. So you have then this drill down possibility. You see then here the simplification items based on a certain LOB. So you can also filter then here if you are interested more in the finance stuff. Then you see all the simplification items with regards to finance. And you can also work in this readiness check. So you can provide here comments, as you can see here. You can, for example, also change the status. So by default, all the simplification items are relevant for your system conversion, because it's depending on the usage of your system. And when you're using it, then at least our idea is then you need also to do the steps to work also in nearly the same way than in an S/4HANA system. But if you then decide during the analysis that you don't need a certain simplification item to perform because you anyway want to retire a certain process, then you have the possibility also to change the status of such a simplification item to out of scope. That is definitely possible. The same also, you can also drill down. You can drill down for all of these different things, but also to the activities. I just want to show you that. So here you can filter, for example, on activities based on a certain conversion phase. For example, before a conversion project, and by the condition, as said, activities are either conditional, optional, or mandatory. And then you see let's say the most important ones that you need to take care of before the system conversion project starts. Here you get then also additional information with regards to this one. And that's the same also for the add-ons. You can also drill down here. So as said, quite a lot of information. What I just want to emphasize is when you are talking about the integration to Solution Manager with Focus Build, the idea is that you first of all work here in this readiness check application, and as said, for example, putting certain simplification items then also out of scope. And then at a certain point when you decide, okay, now we load it into the Solution Manager, then you should continue only working in the Solution Manager with this readiness check, because what we are not offering is an data upload. So you cannot now continue working in both systems in parallel, and then at a certain point you decide, okay, let's take the newest version of our readiness check and put it into Focus Build. This works, but then you're getting a new analysis inside Focus Build. So everything what you have done so far on the old readiness check in Focus Build cannot be merged somehow. So this is just something that you need to know. So after you have finished all the work in the readiness check application, you have then the possibility here to generate a document. This is creating this zip file. You see also directly here, we have also the possibility to generate the extract for SAP Cloud ALM. But this is something where Frank is going to talk about. I'm going to choose the first option, then it's downloading me that zip file, hopefully. If that is also not, okay, slowly, but here now can open that file. So you see here that we have then several Excel files, Word documents, and this zip file can then be taken over into our Solution Manager. So for that, we have an own conversion project application called Simplification Item Management for System Conversion. And here we can then upload exactly that zip file. So this is, we could use this one, providing just a description, clicking then on OK, and then it's creating this readiness check analysis inside the Solution Manager. I've prepared now for our TechEd session for today already 8 of these readiness checks in the system. So later on, so when you want to do this now in parallel, or of course you can also do it after the session, so the system is will be also available for later processing of this exercise. Then just use one of these 8 readiness checks. Inside this readiness checks, we have quite a lot of simplification items and conversion activities. So this is really an example from a real SAP system. And here, what we also always wanted to achieve is that we are copying all relevant data from the readiness check into Solution Manager with Focus Build, so that you don't need to jump between then readiness check. So let's have a look at this specific simplification item, then check inside the Solution Manager. That doesn't make sense from our perspective. That's why we said, okay, we are copying all that information over, and let's have a look, for example, here on this asset accounting. So here you see then the information. So the simplification item also gets a status inside Solution Manager. You see here the manual status, which is taken over from the readiness check. And then we have here the effort ranking information, LOB, business area, category. You can jump also to the activity details. So then you see here the status also for this one. Also activities have a status. Then the phase, important information, the condition, some additional information, and we have also the link to the SAP notes. So this may be something, definitely something that I haven't mentioned. Every simplification item also has an SAP note where it is described really in a detailed way why the simplification item is there, what needs to be done in the system, and of course also that link we want to copy over into the Solution Manager. Okay, and now, and this is something, as said, what you can do now directly to me here in parallel if you want. We have provided in the GitHub the information how to access the system, which user you can use. So let's start with playing around in this application. So we have here a filter bar also in place, so you can filter for a specific LOB what you are maybe interested in. So for example, sourcing and procurement and supply chain. Okay. We have also business area, activity type, all these things. So all the information that are inside simplification items and conversion activities can be also used for filtering. So if these filters that you are seeing are not enough for you, just click on the filters, and then we have here 12 more filters in place that you can use. But at least the most important ones, at least from our perspective, are the ones that are available here. So you can then also check, for example, for the phase. So let's say, okay, anytime. So I want to get an overview about all activities that I can do before the system conversion. So let's choose then these 4 options. Click on Go. And then you see here the filters that you have set. And based on that, also the dashboards are updated. So the figures are updated, and then you can start working on it. So here, for example, we have now a simplification item, which is with an activity of type business decision, and the condition is optional. So this typical thing where I would say, okay, this is something for a requirement because the business just needs to approve whether we are going for that one or not. So then you just mark that simplification item and conversion activity. Then you click on create. Oh, by the way, just quickly adjust a little bit the view because it doesn't look so nice in that one. Let's make the refresh. Maybe you've already seen what just confused me just for a second, but I can also explain it why it looks like that. Okay, so let's activate the filters again. Sourcing and procurement, supply chain and the phases. So you see already here this activity, I have set this yesterday just as a short test to postpone. So as mentioned, when you have uploaded the readiness check into Solution Manager, you should continue only working here. And if you're now identifying that a certain simplification item is not relevant anymore for you, then you have also inside the Solution Manager the possibility to set a certain activity to postpone in case you want to say we maybe going for it in 6 or 9 months. Or you can even say, okay, I'm going to completely reject it. And if you say, okay, I'm not going to do this anyway. So then with reject, it's a final status, then this activity cannot be processed anymore. And then it's simply gone. So it has the same effect like putting a simplification item out of scope. Okay, so, but anyway, it's a business decision. Also, it has been postponed. Maybe now we have reached that time where you say, okay, now I want to go for it. Then you mark it, you click on create, and then you can create here the requirement for this activity. So in the next screen, just click then on save. And then remember the activity was in status postponed. Now the requirement has been created. The requirement has the initial status draft, and the status of the activity has been changed to follow-up created. So we have also a direct integration between the different workflows. So when you're updating the requirement later on or the work package later on, it has always also an update on the conversion activity and on the simplification item. Also something that you don't need to take care of. Okay, and then we have here, for example, we have a conversion activity of type customizing and configuration, which is mandatory. Okay, so this is usually a work package. Let's check, do we have another one maybe? And here, really it is like that. We have also an additional activity, customizing and configuration, and it's also mandatory. So maybe it makes sense to combine them. This is something which was newly introduced with SP8, where we said, okay, this granularity that we had before, so with SP6 and SP7, where this readiness check integration was delivered the first time, it was always a one-to-one relationship between conversion activity and follow-up document, work package or requirement. But the feedback from our customers and partners was also that this is way too granular because there are several conversion activities really with a small implementation effort where it really makes sense to combine them in one follow-up document. And this we have tackled with SP8. So you can select more than one activity. And then you see you have now the possibility to create one requirement per activity, or you create one requirement for all selected activities, the same for work package. And in that case, I want to bundle both in one work package. This is also something that you can do inside the system. Then you're getting to that screen. So you see here, you can do nothing. Everything is grayed out. It's just as an information what you have selected. And then you click on save, and then it asks you for the follow-up document title. And here maybe change it then also to enter your name or enter a certain naming that you are also later on able to find via the document search. Maybe this work package makes it the life a little bit easier. Click on OK, and then the work package is created, and it is linked then also to these activities. So you see here also the status has been updated to follow-up created. Okay, I just want to show you then, it's not part of the exercise, but I talked some minutes ago about this wave planning that we are also offering. For that purpose, I just quickly create another work package here for this of type interface adoption. Create one work package. In that case, it's a one-to-one. For the classification, this is an interface, so it's YSF. Click on Save. Okay, so we have now two work packages here in place. And so from a wave planning perspective, what I would now do is I would select all the conversion activities where we have a work package assigned. So I can also do for that a specific filter. So add here this filter for with the follow-up type also. And as follow-up type, I select work package. And click on Go. And then you see we have now here two work packages. So we have 3 entries, but here this one and this one are the same. But anyway, I can now select all these work packages that fulfill this criteria. So they need to be done before the conversion project, or they can be done before the conversion project, and they are mandatory. So I would assume that I would assign them to the wave 1 of my project. And let's assume we don't only have 2 work packages, but maybe 20, 30, 50 work packages. And then this functionality definitely makes sense to say now, okay, go to the mask change. And in the mask change, we have then the option to say, okay, I'm selecting these 2 ones, click on mask change, and then I'm assigning them to this transformation project to wave 1 before the conversion. And with that step, I can do this in a mass added way for 20, 30, 50 work packages at the same time. Makes the life definitely easier. Was also a feedback from customers and partners, and that's why we have implemented it. For the sake of this exercise, the way how you should do it is open the created work package. So just click on this ID, and then you're getting to the My Work Packages application. So then you have the possibility here to assign it via Edit, and then you assign here the project S4 transformation to Private Cloud Edition, and also here to assign it to wave 1 before the conversion. And then going to change the status also to define the scope. So we want to enhance now the information of this work package a bit. So then you see also here the documentation is now getting read because it's expecting there something, and we need to assign now the business process step, for example, that we want to use. So for that, I'm going to the business processes, corporate solution, end-to-end processes, procure to pay, standard, and here, for example, you take that create purchase order reference process step. And then it's asking me whether I want to create automatically the required documents. So based on the customizing, it's then when I click here on yes, then asking for a functional specification and a single functional test document. So I can just here then define whether I want to assign it to the process step original or process step reference. Also assign it to the process step reference and then click on create. And then it's creating automatically the required documents with the template also that you have defined. So it's Word documents, and then you have the possibility to download them to your local machine, update the document, and later on also then upload there a new version so that it's really then enhanced with the information that is required and which has been defined as deliverable for the project. Okay, so this just as the example what you should do in the work package. One last thing I nearly forgot is the relations tab. Quite important. So you've seen we have updated the work package to status scoping, and you see now the conversion activities have also already been updated in the background they are now in status in realization. So as said, there's a direct integration between the follow-up documents, so that these status updates are happening automatically in the background. And if you do here in the simplification item management application a refresh, then you would also see that. So status is here now scoping, and status of the activities is in realization. So then the last point that I want to show you now on that system, so this is an SP8 system, by the way, if this is of interest for you. I just want to open the Solution Readiness Dashboard. So also this part is described in the exercise section. And first of all, the important thing is perform a refresh of this readiness dashboard. So click here on refresh now, and then it's loading the latest status of the project. Then you should see, okay, we have now 3 work packages. Hopefully this is now extended when more and more people are working on it. You can here click then on the total one, and then you see the work package that I have just created some seconds ago, and all this information. So this is something that you can check. And what I just wanted to show you with regards to our conversion project support in the Solution Readiness Dashboard, I mean, you see here the overall status of the project that you can set. So here everything's on track and green as always. When is the next quality gate? For example, you can check here. So we have 15 days until that one. And this is the wave 1 until when it should be finished. Then we have the wave 2 until when it is should be finished. So things like that you can check here. And in the schedule, this is also quite important. You see here the different activate tasks. So you can monitor here the different activate tasks. So which are the completed tasks, like this fit to standard workshop preparation and all this stuff. But usually project managers don't have a look at the completed ones, but at the overdue ones. So, and here you can then see, okay, which tasks are still open, who is the owner for them. You see then also this information if it has been provided, and then when it should have been finished actually. So here we have already 43 days over it. So there's then usually where the project manager says, okay, now we need to have a look on this. Okay, and with that, I'm coming to the last slide. Where is it? Because I want to give you a short outlook on SP9, which we are going to release for Focus Build at the beginning of next year, where we actually want to make the life a little bit easier for customers to assign the work package to the right business process step. So what you have seen in my SP8 system, where we don't have this functionality, I needed to click on assign structure, and then I needed to go through these end-to-end processes to get to the procurement part and then to get to this process step. This is time consuming. And of course, if you have users that are not so familiar with the solution documentation also, they can make errors, but at least it is definitely time consuming. And what we want to do there is now, or what we want to deliver with SP9 is to make this a little bit easier. So you can directly choose during the creation of the requirement or work package, doesn't matter, the affected executable. So this could be a transaction, could be a report, for example. So we are assigning then this executable to the requirement or work package. And then we have inside the work package, we have a where used functionality in place. So you can then check this transaction, for example, is used in which business process step. And then you can do this assignment manually. And disclaimer also, it is just planning state. So I'm going to an SP9, to our SP9 test system now and show it to you. So as said, hopefully we are going to deliver it with the next SP. So I'm going to open here a specific readiness check. I'm also searching for a specific simplification item. We just have one there. So what we are going to do is, you see this simplification item is assigned to a specific SAP node. When we open this SAP node, you see it is assigned to a specific application component, FI, SL, ISA. And that information we are reading during the execution time. So it is nothing that we have persisted inside the Solution Manager. This we really read remote from the simplification item catalog. So when we click here now on create, you choose again requirement or work package. In that case, I choose the work package. And then it's reading, okay, that simplification item, this SAP node is assigned to this application component FI something. And then we check inside our solution documentation, which executables like transactions, like reports do have the same application component. And we are offering them then here in the top down. So you can say, okay, this so this conversion activity is related to this transaction FINS underscore RSSN OS1. Okay, so I just select here one executable, then I click on save. It creates the work package. And when we then check the work package, we have in our documentation tab then a really cool feature with the where used functionality. So it plays together. So I just need to provide here also the, I need to assign the project in Wave first of all, and change the status also to scoping. It's just a mandatory task because only then these buttons are also getting active. So you see here, I have now my executable assigned, and then I can mark it, and then I have here my where used button. And then it searches really in which process steps are we using that transaction. And here in that case, it just finds one, but this is okay. And then I just can assign it. And then I have assigned this process step to this work package. And then it's asking me again whether I want to create the mandatory documents. In that case, I'm just skipping that part. But I'm pretty sure that this way is, or that's really making it easier for our for the architects and also to bridge the gap between simplification items, conversion activities, and work packages with regards to the solution documentation. I definitely think that this is a step forward. We have received that feedback quite a lot from our partners, especially that they are struggling with the correct assignment of solution documentation elements, and hopefully with that functionality, which we are going to deliver, hopefully at the beginning of next year, we will help them with making that step easier. All right, then, Frank, I'm done. And over to you for Cloud ALM. So thanks for your time so far. And then let's see what Cloud ALM is offering.
Warm welcome from my side. My name is Frank Kühn. Similar to Jörg, also area product owner for Focus Build. I'm also involved a little bit already in the Cloud ALM part, taking care that all the learnings we have from Focus Build, that we also bring that into Cloud ALM. When Jörg started, he didn't want to say new kid on the block to SAP Cloud ALM. Well, I say that because in preparation for the session, I really checked when it was officially released, and it was May 29th, 2020. So it's close to 1.5 years old. So it's still young, I would say. Okay, now you saw the complete story from Jörg, where we saw in Solution Manager you can do the complete life cycle of your product, deep integration here for the conversion. So why do we need another tool? Why do we need Cloud ALM? On the one hand side, yes, you're right. But on the other hand side, we see also in the market that we have this shift to the cloud accelerating, especially in the current times where with COVID uncertainties, you have this fast changing markets, you always have the cost pressure. This is all pushing our customers more to the cloud. And as Jörg also showed in his first slide, so the answer to that is this intelligent enterprise with S4 in the center to overcome all these challenges. And SAP Cloud ALM is exactly focusing on these cloud-centric customers. Yeah. So for sure, cloud-centric, we can handle cloud, we can manage cloud solutions. I need to switch to the slide, otherwise you don't see that. We can manage cloud solutions, yes, but well, reality is that cloud-centric doesn't mean cloud only. So normally they also have some on-premise products in place, which means then, okay, well, we need to also be able to handle hybrid solutions. The final goal is with Cloud ALM that we support all components of the intelligent enterprise at the end. Okay, so new product. Question is it just a copy of Solution Manager into the cloud or somehow a migration of Solution Manager into the cloud? Definitely no, it's really a completely new designed thing. We rethought all the ALM processes to fit best for our cloud-centric customers. This means also from technology point of view, it was built on most modern cloud technology we currently have. It runs on SAP Business Technology Platform. And there, I think it's still one of the biggest applications running on BTP. It's not only a shift then from on-premise to a cloud product with SAP Cloud ALM, also for our development teams who came also from the Solution Manager development side, where you have these support package cycles twice a year, long development phases, and then also long test phases until you finally ship the new support package. They also had to relearn and rethink how to develop SAP Cloud ALM. So they currently use a methodology and process which is called deploy with confidence. It's basically one code line they have there is for SAP Cloud ALM. Is fully automated testing, and this allows them to deploy daily into production. And they do that since it's really released, since 1.5 years, we deploy daily into production. And the other good thing is every second week, we also can ship new features to the customers. So for me, who works more than 20 years somehow on premise world and on-premise products, this is really impressive how fast you can now react on customer needs and really brings us the agility we need. Yeah, so on the other hand side, as SAP Cloud ALM is a public cloud product, it gives also some other benefits to you. It's always up to date because whenever we ship something, it's there for all customers. And the other thing is it's immediately ready for consumption. So when you have the entitlement for Cloud ALM. So the first click when you request your own tenant until you finally can log on to your tenant, it takes something around 15 minutes or below 15 minutes even. And then you can directly start working. If you compare that with Solution Manager, I don't want to make Solution Manager bad, but Solution Manager is an on-premise product. It takes you need to get the hardware or somehow hyperscaler where you put it, install the software. For sure, then Focus Build also helps a lot because there you can get an end-to-end process pre-configured, very fast set up, but still I would say you need several weeks until you can really productively use then Solution Manager with Focus Build in a project. And with Cloud ALM, you can immediately consume it. That's really a nice thing. And finally, and I would say the best for the customers, it's really cost efficient for you. For this journey to become an intelligent enterprise, SAP offers RISE with SAP, which is a business transformation as a service offering. And when customers who have this RISE with SAP, they have then also the entitlement to use SAP Cloud ALM, but not only this RISE with SAP. So whenever all customers who have a subscription to a cloud service that includes, and this I need to read now that I mention it right, that includes SAP Enterprise Cloud, Enterprise Support Cloud Edition are entitled to use SAP Cloud ALM. So I said cost efficient. What does it really cost for you as a customer? So the solution itself, it's running on hyperscalers via BTP. And these hyperscalers are paid by SAP as part of fair use rights. Well, this means we include a baseline of 8 GB HANA memory to such a tenant for standard ALM of your solutions. And now you say, okay, 8 GB, what does it mean? To set this into relation, currently, I don't know any customer in the implementation area who even comes close to that limit. And in the operations area, well, if you have data intensive monitoring use cases, it might happen that you reach it. If you think about message processing or message monitoring, there it might happen. But in general, I would say for most customers, Cloud ALM is for free. Okay, well, in the next thing, let me give you a little insight on what is part of Cloud ALM for implementation. So the whole thing consists of 2 parts. On the one hand side, we have SAP Cloud ALM for implementation, and then we have also SAP Cloud ALM for operation. So you can basically also there handle your complete life cycle of your product with SAP Cloud ALM. The name of the says already what it does. So one is implementation, the other one, once you are live, the operation part. In this session, we will focus on the implementation part. And I here want to give you just a short overview of what is part of the implementation. I do it in a bit more detail than Jörg to give you a general overview because, well, Focus Build and Solution Manager, that's out already for years. For Cloud ALM, as it's really new, let me give it a little bit more insights on what's there. So Jörg explained you the SAP Activate methodology with its phases, deliverables, and tasks you have in there, which helps you guiding through the implementation project. And in addition, you have also this best practice content with the predefined business processes. And like in Solution Manager, Focus Build, you can also utilize all these accelerators in SAP Cloud ALM. And the next thing is, well, the project management is quite simple in Cloud ALM, but it gives you really a fast onboarding of your project members. They get, when you assign them to the project, that they get emails, invitations, they can directly then log onto the tenant and start working. And we have also there some, well, an overview page that gives the project managers or PMO guys an easy overview where they are in the project, and there are some analytics views in addition, which rounds up this whole thing. What will come, not yet there, but it's in planning, that you get also a view where you can see the SAP Cloud Solution release timelines, that you can keep this in sync with your project plans, having the right milestones at the right time in place. And we can also as said before, use the SAP Activate content there and generate tasks into the project, which I will also later on show you in the project, in the demo. And for the fit to standard workshops, then we utilize the BPMN processes from the best practice content. And for sure, we have also then testing capabilities for testing what you have built or what you want to set live. There's manual testing possibilities, but also the integration of automated test tools. And then, as said already, we have this overview page, but in addition, we have also some analytic views with burn-up charts, some task trend analysis, and or some traceability views, which you need in order to, yeah, set certain statuses to decisions, see where you are. Okay, so that's high-level overview on what we have in the implementation area. Now let me explain you a little bit where we really come from. So when we started with SAP Cloud ALM, the first use case was this content-driven implementation for public cloud. So what does it mean? Public cloud, we take the content from SAP Activate, which guides you through the project with all these Activate tasks, with detailed descriptions, what have to be done. Then in addition, you take these process models from the best practice content, which also comes with detailed process descriptions. And then in this public cloud projects, you do your fit to standard workshop where you decide, okay, which of the processes you want to have in scope of your project. And then maybe you have also done some rollouts to different countries or regions. And finally, you onboard your project team that they can, and with Cloud ALM, quite easy and fast, start working then within the project. And finally, not to forget, we have also our test functionality with which you then test the stuff you want to set live. So it's really simple for this public cloud. Normally, these projects are not that big, and you have maybe from the start or kickoff of such a project until when you go live, maybe 3-4 months. And therefore, Cloud ALM is the perfect fit from the beginning. So this is how it started. Now, let's go a little bit in the direction, okay, how SAP Cloud ALM is evolving and what are the customer use cases coming from additional functionality. I don't want to go through all details of this graphic here, just to show you high level. We have these 4 pillars with process management, task management, test management, and deployment management. Then there is they are founded on this basement of some foundation capabilities where you have here project management, the landscape information that you need later on for the deployment, and the whole user management. And on top there is then this cross layer, which is giving you, well, the project insights that you need in order to steer the project. Okay, well, as explained, we started with the S/4HANA public cloud implementation, where we have also all the content available. What's coming next? I think quite soon, within the next weeks, we get also the content for SuccessFactors and Ariba, also public cloud applications that you can go also for the implementation of other public cloud products. And as we are evolving also from functionality wise, we are meanwhile also able to handle S/4HANA private cloud implementation. So if you think about a S/4HANA private cloud implementation, it's more like, I would say, a little bit like on-premise, because at the end, what the customers can do is you can modify your processes, you can even build your own processes. Well, for sure, we always recommend to stay as close as possible to standard, but this also means from tooling perspective, you need to have the capability to model your own business processes and to document them. And on the other hand side, you also need to be able to somehow handle ABAP transports, because in a private cloud edition, you still have normal ABAP transports like you have also in on-premise world. And this functionality we have, and so meanwhile we can really work also for or with private cloud editions. We can even, if needed, work with on-premise systems, because our connectivity is also possible against on-premise systems. So as we ship every second week new functionality, also in this area, we are evolving quite fast over time. So there, I would say always stay tuned, have a look what's coming next. There is also a roadmap for new function and features that are regularly coming. It's always worth to have a look there. Okay, next, just to make you a little bit familiar with the terms we use in Cloud ALM, let's go a little bit into that area, that you later on can, when we do the demo and your exercise, that you can see how these things fit into this whole puzzle. Yeah, well, let's start here on the left side with the process management. You have their solution processes that describe the way how your business process is or shall be. And then you have the nodes, which basically do a description of the whole thing there. Then in the next big area, which is here project and task management, we have requirements. Well, they describe the functionality from business point of view. And then for its realization, you break them down into user stories that are then somehow worked on by the development teams. And then these user stories are, well, the functional description of how the functionality should be realized by the dev team. Well, in addition, we have there then also the so-called template tasks. These are the tasks that we get basically from the Sap Activate methodology, and they describe the activities to be executed by the project members. Project tasks, which you also see there, these are similar to template tasks, but they do not come from methodology, from SAP Activate methodology, but they are manually created within the project. If there are some project related tasks you need to do, you can manually create them. We have them there as well. Then in the test management area, we have test cases. Clear, you want to test your functionality later on that before you set that live. And then we have in the area of change and deployment management, we have our feature coming, I think it's there since 1 month, 2 months, not that long, but this is our delivery vehicle. That's also, the truck is here, a nice, nice picture for that. And it's a collection of deployment units. And in case of an on-premise or on private cloud, this is basically then really the transports that you can handle with the feature. Now, if you, and at the bottom then, just to complete the picture, we have then here the analytics views to have really the insights on what happens really in your project. If you want to see I would say the full beauty of how all these pieces and puzzles work together, there is another session in TechEd from our colleagues. It's in the Integrated Intelligence Suite track, and the session ID is IIS 162. Unfortunately, this was starting, I think, 1 hour before this one, so it's somehow running a little bit in parallel, but maybe you have the chance to watch the recording later on. Okay, so this was all to give you overview insight. Yeah, what is Cloud ALM now? Let's come also to this integration or this how to help you with a conversion project. And as Jörg also showed you, we have here an integration also with the readiness check. So in a difference to focus build, where we only use the simplification items and the related activities from the readiness check, here for SAP Cloud ALM, we have also the possibility to take the results from add-on compatibility or business process discovery, custom code analysis, and so on into the export. This means you select during the export what you want to get there, and then you basically get it into an Excel file. And when you want to then import the whole thing into SAP Cloud ALM, you first need to have a project. Basically, what you will upload later on are tasks. When you upload the Excel, then it creates you user stories and subtasks in there. And you have then all the information from the readiness check via this way into your Cloud ALM project. And not to forget, during the creation of the project, you already take the SAP Activate methodology and import basically the content from that into the project, and they are then appearing there as template tasks. And by that, you have basically, like Jörg showed in Focus Build, also on the one hand side, the readiness check parts and the SAP Activate methodology together in one project. Okay, now let's come to demo and exercises here. Let me start with a demo. Roadmap Viewer, I don't think I need to show you. Jörg showed that already, how you can there export something or how you can export there the roadmap in order then to import it into Focus Build for the project template. This we don't need to do in Cloud ALM, because there the SAP Activate methodology, they are closer coupled, and you directly get it out of the box when you create a new project. Well, the readiness check. There I jump in because let me check if it's working. Yes. Because there I just want to show you how the export there works. So just an example, readiness check. But later on for the demo or for your exercise, you don't need to access a readiness check. I prepared you already a downloaded Excel that you can reuse. So that's the readiness check. Jörg explained also a little bit the different areas here. And in this download section, you have two entries. So the first one, that's the download that you need for Focus Build. The second one here is the extraction for SAP Cloud ALM. And as said, you can here now select what you want to get exported into the Excel that you will get. So a bit more choice. Still, my thinking on coming from the Focus Build side is also here. The simplification items and the related activities are really the most important things. Okay, when you generate it, it's basically generating an Excel that you can download, and then we can upload that into a Cloud ALM project. Okay, so this is the part that you don't do in the demo. Now let's have a look to how you can get all the information for the exercise. Just to recap, if someone joined a little bit later than and missed the part at the beginning when Jörg showed it. Well, let's hear in the session catalog of TechEd. There you find, if you scroll down a little bit, here the session material GitHub link. If you click on that, I think in the chat it was also posted at the very beginning somewhere, the URL to the GitHub. So here you have the information for the exercise. So the exercise 1, that was the part that Jörg showed to you. We are now here on exercise 2. So if you click here on this one, let me just close some tabs here. You will get here the exercise, and similar to what was there from Jörg, we have here an overview. We will create a project. We will upload the readiness check parts, and then you can also have a look to the overview page, click there around a little bit. And we have then a step-by-step description, which guides you step by step, really through. And let me scroll down a little bit. It's like in Jörg's exercise, step by step, you can click through. If you cannot follow me, you can also do that afterwards. The systems, by the way, will be available, I think, 2 to 3 weeks even after TechEd session, so you can still utilize them. And here you find, by the way, then also the logon information on this GitHub overview page. So we have here one specific tenant for this TechEd session. So if you click here, we will immediately log on or come to the logon page. There is one user mentioned. So just to be aware, we are here in a shared demo environment. So all of you are working in the same tenant with the same user. This is no problem at all. You are all separated basically by your session context. The only thing that might happen if you log out and log in again, you basically lose your session context, and by that you are no longer maybe in your own project. So when this happens, that you log out and log in again, be careful that you really pick your own project that you create during your exercise, that you don't mess up somehow the project of someone else. Well, that's the only thing I need to mention here. Well, then let's go and log on here. This exercise I would also close. So that's the logon screen. User is provided in the GitHub page. I log on also with the same user basically, and then you are in. This is SAP Cloud ALM. You also have a Launchpad page, like in Focus Build, and well, in this tenant, the users have just the authorizations to go for the implementation part. That's why you don't see any tiles here for operations or service. Okay, now what you see here also then the different tiles in the implementation part for the different applications we have there. Well, this overview page, we go in later, the projects where we will create our project, and you have a task view. You can here have a look to the processes that come from best practice content. And you have also, meanwhile, this process authoring. If you think about the private cloud edition, where you need to update or need to build your own or model your own processes, then the requirements, the feature notes, what I explained before. Okay, now let's go and create a new project in here. You see there was maybe one already created something. Just to explain a little bit the screen here on the left side, what you have now as you go into one of the applications, on the left side, you have now this navigation bar where you can basically directly jump also to all the different applications. So the first one would be the overview page, or the next one would be the task page. Here you would have the processes and the process modeling, and then you have requirements, feature, and so on. So it's then easy to navigate. Once you're in one application, you can easily navigate also to all the other applications. Now let's get started. Let's just create one new. When you do that, make a meaningful name for yourself for the project name. I don't give you guidance because at the end, after 3 weeks, the tenant will anyway go away. So let me just call it TechEd demo for me. And then that's what you need to do. Now, the important thing here is, and this is this task template. And if you open the drop down, you see now we have here different templates available. So for sure, we have here S4HANA Cloud. We have also Sap Activate for S4HANA Cloud 3 system landscape, which is quite new. And then we have also for private edition, well, if you want to do a new implementation or system conversion, we have all these SAP Activate Methodology content available as templates. So for this session, let me just take here the system conversion template. And then what you see also in this screen here is, well, you can set the status manually, also the current phase that you will see later on in the overview page. That can then later on also be changed here. Well, this here is the integration into the CBC, Central Business Configuration. This is not configured in this tenant, but there you would also be able to select the corresponding CBC project. Okay, what you would need to do then in addition to make the whole thing a little bit nicer is to maintain the time boxes for your project. There we have, on the one hand side, we have all the phases coming from the SAP Activate methodology. And what we would need to do now here, and I shortly do that, let me just maintain these time ranges. I make it a little bit easy for me now. I just take it always 1 week, maybe the realize phase. Let's say realize phase takes a bit longer. For the realize phase, we take 2 weeks. And then for the deploy phase, we go for 1 week again, which is this week. And we somehow want to go live around Christmas time. So let's do it like that. Now, if you have a project and want to work in an agile mode, then you can also define your sprint time boxes. Basically in Cloud ALM, these are all time boxes, and then you can assign either a phase or a sprint then to your task. So here you can just create, let's do sprint 1. And let me see, I want to do that during the realize phase. And as I said, I had 2 weeks. Let me just go for the sprint 1 is the first week, and the sprint 2 is my second week of the realize phase. To make it like that. From the 4th of December, 5th to 11th. And for sure, what you can also do is you can maintain some milestones. Well, kickoff date was then Monday. Planned go live, let's say Merry Christmas, you go live. And then once we have maintained that, we can say save. So what happened now, we created a project in SAP Cloud ALM, and we already brought all the SAP Activate methodology or the tasks from there into my new project. And the easy way to check that now is we can go here on the left side. Let's go to the task application. So as long as you are logged on, just to repeat that from the beginning, you are in your session context, and then all the filter values you will have then also for the different applications. As I created now my TechEd demo project, this will be always pre-selected. Well, for sure I can change it, but as long as I'm in my session, I always want to work with this project. It's always pre-selected. So you see now here, I have already now 254 tasks within my project, and these are all tasks and that come, or most of them really come from the SAP Activate methodology. You see that they are also grouped by deliverables. So these are the deliverables coming from Activate. If you want to really see that, there's also a source filter. And you can say here, okay, let me just show all the activities coming from SAP Activate. And now we will see it's not 254, it's just 250. But I can tell you this is just because here automatically when you generate a new project or create a new project, there are always some tasks directly from SAP Cloud ALM in order to kick off the project there. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to show you how you can work in here. Basically, if you go into the details of such a Activate methodology task, you will see here the full description of what needs to be done. So this is this is basically the benefit you get from getting all these SAP Activate methodology tasks in here. You have all the description, all you need directly in here. Now, basically when you start with the project, and what you would need to do here is, well, you need to assign the tasks to different people. So either you do that then directly here in this result list of your filter. I can assign it to Agatha. That's the one I'm logged on here. Or you can also search for other users. So you do that either one by one, and I can also set that in progress. Or you see, okay, this one, yeah, maybe there is something, a blocker in, but we have also mass change functionality in here. Easy thing is, you just select several of them, go to mass edit, and then you can, for example, well, let's assign that all to my user, and I set them all in progress. And by that, you can easily work also with these activities. Okay, maybe let's have a short look here to the overview page already. And the good thing here, this is really real time. Maybe the first loading, it takes a moment until everything is populated, but here you see that, let's do that. That we have here, well, I assigned here to my user, for example, here five tasks. I will show you later on in another project that where I prepared specific data that we can how it looks with some real data there. Okay, but if you have your project play around, you will directly also see here progress and so on. Now let's go back to the task application. Now, by the way, did I show that? So if you're back in your GitHub session, just to, oh no, I left this one. If you are back in your GitHub session, you need to download under exercises. There is this Excel file that you would need to download, because this is the one that we will go to upload now into your project. And then I now accept exactly what might happen to you as well. Now I lost my session if I go in again to my to the demo tenant here, I'm logged on. Let's see if I lost my context. Oh, yes. So for example, you see now someone else project. I need to go back to my project here, and then I can go and say, okay, let me upload this Excel. And I just take it from here. You select the Excel, you say upload. Now it's processing the Excel, and then another pop-up will appear telling you how many tasks are in there. Just a warning you that if you press create, it's creating you all these tasks now into your project. Well, let's do that. And then once they are created, I don't have this 254, I have now 432 tasks in here. Now, as showed before, here you have the possibility to also filter here for the SAP Readiness Check activities. You have them all in here. And there, basically, you have also the information coming from the readiness check now. So this is now the simplification item is the user story. And then you see also as a subtask, you see the different activities for this simplification item